etiology is still puzzling, means it is not clear. It is now accepted that it is multifactorial, partly genetic, but although a number of candidate genes have been postulated, means the research is still going on. The mode of inheritance and the responsible gene remains unclear. The important point is that the patient should concentrate on diet and exercise, and that greater emphasis needs to be placed on the lifestyle modifications. Normally, the ovaries make female sex hormones and a tiny amount of male sex hormones, that is the androgens. These help regulate the normal development of eggs in the ovaries during each menstrual cycle. PCOS is related to an imbalance in these sex hormones. In PCOS, they start making slightly more androgens, which causes hirsutism. The eggs in these follicles do not mature and are not released from the ovaries. Instead, they can form very small cysts in the ovary, hence the name called polycystic ovaries. You can see a picture of normal uterus and the polycystic ovarian syndrome. The PCOS is a disorder of the endocrine system, whereas the PCOD is a condition developed by the imbalance in the hormones. It is believed that hormonal imbalances and genetics play an essential role in both these conditions. You can see the normal ovaries here on the one side and the polycystic ovaries on the other picture in the ovaries. The symptoms of PCOD are acne, weight gain, hirsutism, thinning of hair on the scalp, irregular periods. Means the women with PCOS have very few periods, that is 9 periods a year. Some women have no periods or others have very heavy bleeding. And infertility, depression, all these are few symptoms of PCOD. The menstrual symptoms. Menstrual symptoms mainly oligomenorrhea, means reduced in the bleeding, amenorrhea, lack of bleeding, and prolonged erratic menstrual bleeding are all aspects of the menstrual disturbances that occur in PCOS. Nearly 90% of women with oligomenorrhea have PCOS on ultrasound, while they are only present in 30% women with amenorrhea. Majority is oligomenorrhea, only few present with amenorrhea. 75% of women with anovulatory infertility will have PCOS, although weight-related amenorrhea and hyperprolactinemia, which need to be considered as a part of differential diagnosis.
Dr. Ramya, just an interruption. I appreciate if you can give, because our forum is mostly made of homeopathy lovers. So when you mention the technical terms, some oligomenorrhea, such terms, the ordinary homeopathy lovers may not understand that. If you appreciate if you can give a small explanation of what is oligomenorrhea.
So only, sir, I mentioned oligomenorrhea is reduced in the menstrual bleeding, amenorrhea is lack of menstruation, and erratic menstrual bleeding are all aspects of menstrual disturbances that occur in PCOS. And hirsutism. Hirsutism means increased in facial and body hair, is one of the most commonly presenting symptoms. And 92% of women have PCOS on ultrasound. And recurrent miscarriages are seen. In PCOS, we have identified as being associated with recurrent miscarriage and early pregnancy following in IVF. Hypersecretion of luteinizing hormone was proposed as the underlying cause of the reproductive loss. And insulin resistance, both of which are very common. And the resulting hyperinsulinemia, which is found in 80% of obese women and 30 to 40% of women of normal weight with polycystic ovarian syndrome. In obesity, the distribution of fat in women with PCO results in an increased waist-hip ratio and is frequently associated with greater insulin resistance than if fat is distributed predominantly in the lower body segment. That means the PCOS are increased risk of developing type 2 diabetes mellitus and myocardial infection, means heart attack. The hormones secreted here are luteinizing hormone, follicle stimulating hormone, testosterone, means androgen, DHEAs, prolactin, androstenedione, and progesterone. All these hormones are seen in PCOS, mainly secreted by the uterus and the ovaries. There are 4 types of polycystic ovarian syndrome, mainly insulin resistant PCOS, inflammatory PCOS, hidden cause PCOS, and pill-induced PCOS. This pill-induced is oral contraceptive pill-induced PCOS. The main etiology is a high percentage of siblings and mothers of women with PCOS have the same morphological appearances at ultrasound. Means it is genetically transferred. There is also evidence of an autosomal transmission of the responsible genetic sequences. It is possible that a gene may render the ovary susceptible to insulin stimulation of androgen secretion while blocking follicular maturation. Here, the follicles won't mature in PCOS. Women with PCOS have high level of luteinizing hormone secretion, which in turn leads to high level of androgens. That leads to low level of follicle stimulating hormone, in turn poor egg development and ovulatory cycle, means the ovulation does not occur here in PCOS. The ovarian androgen production is important to understand the etiology. The second is the insulin resistance, probably contributes to the overall androgen level. It is probably the most common endocrine disorder in women, accounting for the majority of cases of hirsutism, of menstrual disturbance, and anovulatory infertility. At the other end of spectrum, there may be women with menstrual disturbances, oligoamenorrhea, means less menstruation, increased hair growth, acne, crown pattern baldness, and evidence of insulin resistance. The investigation mainly are blood sugar estimation, like thyroid hormone test, ultrasound, and other hormones like androgens, LH, and other hormones are done. Treatment in allopathy, it is mainly the lowering of blood glucose level, restoration of fertility, treatment of hirsutism or acne, that is unwanted hair growth, restoration of regular menstruation, and prevention of endometrial hyperplasia, that means cancer, prevention of cancer. And the puncture of the polycyst is done in the ovary through laparoscopy, and bariatric surgery for obesity. All these are the treatment part in allopathy. General management, it is mainly concentrated on losing weight, which has shown to help in diabetes, high BP, and high cholesterol. Even a weight loss of 5% of the total body weight has shown to help the imbalance of the hormones and also with the infertility. It is of great change. If the patient loses 5% of the total body weight and the symptoms are reduced. Lifestyle modifications like diet, exercising, and stress-free life, yoga, meditation can be done. The complications here are increased risk of endometrial cancer, infertility, means lack of childbearing, then obesity-related conditions such as high BP, heart problems, diabetes, and possible increased risk of breast cancer. Homeopathic management. Research has shown that polycystic ovarian syndrome treatment in homeopathy offer better results when compared to conventional treatment. The root cause of PCOS lies in the hormonal imbalance. Homeopathy corrects this hormonal imbalance and brings about harmony without the risk of side effects. As you all know, we take both physical makeup and mental makeup of the person. So it is done in the overall way compared to allopathy where they treat only these symptoms. Homeopathy focuses on the root cause of an ailment and works to correct hormonal imbalance, regularizing ovulation, as well as restoring menstrual normalcy. Here the menstruation is restored. Homeopathy for PCOS is an individualized treatment and therefore effectively addresses and helps to treat the associated symptoms of PCOS effectively compared to other system of medicine. Some homeopathic remedies for treating PCOS are for hair loss and PCOS. We use Visbedon, Arnica, Thuja, Acid Flow, China. And acne and PCOS, we use Berberis, Phosphorus, Silicea, Sulfur, Calcarea sulf. And for infertility, we use Pulsatilla, Sepia, Tarantula, Apis, Lycopodium, Lachesis. And some important rubrics with medicines for PCOS in Herrick's guiding symptoms are genitalia female in ovaries under affections. We see arnica, creosote, lycopodium, palladium, platina. And in genitalia female ovaries for congestion, we see apis, bell, hemamolis, sepia, symphytum, stylago. And in female ovary swelling, we see enlarged inflammation in tumor. You can see apis. Main remedies are apis, bufo, iodum, lachesis, lilium tigrinum. And in ovaries tumors, we see apis, barium uraticum, calcarea, colocynth, lycopodium. These are the main remedies used in PCOS. In Kent's repertory of homeopathic materia medica, there are genitalia female tumors ovaries. There we have same lachesis only ars, then graphitis, apocyinum, podo, platina, iodum, hepar, staphysagria. These are the remedies to mention. Homeopathy along with yoga helps better in treating menstrual disorders in females with polycystic ovarian syndrome. Means along with yoga, it helps better in treating the disease. Constitutional treatment along with anti-miasmatic remedy seems to be more efficacious. Lifestyle modification along with homeopathic treatment is effective in reducing signs and symptoms of PCOD. Here comes the diet and exercises. All this comes under lifestyle modification. Homeopathy gives more importance to psychosomatic aspect. So method of case taking and remedy selection will suit to psychosomatic diseases in general and polycystic ovarian syndrome in age 23 presented with pimples continuously since 5 years. She has used lots of ointments to the face. And her second complaint was backache and abdomen pain during periods since 3 years after menarche. She had a pain and slight weakness. The flow of menses was for 6 days. No intermenstrual discharge was normal. And better by lemon juice and lies on the abdomen. The pain is better on lemon juice and lies on abdomen. Past history, nothing significant. Family history, mother and father both are diabetic. The mental symptoms are irritability, shouts, weeps easily, and the childhood was normal. And there was fear for cockroaches, dogs, cats. In physical general, the desire for chats, ice creams, and fried items. And there was thirst for cold drinks. Sleep was normal. Under menstrual history, menarche for 13 years, flow was normal, slightly painful. LMP was March 20th, 19. and she was 62 kg and her height was 152 centimeter. And on ultrasound, both the ovaries shows bilateral PCOS. Means both the ovaries, it showed polycystic ovarian syndrome. But the uterus was normal in size. Anybody can guess what may be the first prescription? Any guess?
Lapis albus.
Pardon?
Is it lapis albus?
Lapis albus, it's nearing, but that was not the first prescription.
Yeah, of course. But or not lapis albus, maybe. Okay. Majority are muted, doctor. So it is not possible to give answers.
Oh, okay, sir.
Okay, that's the problem.
Okay, sir. The first prescription was Calcarea Carb 200, 3 dose for 3 days, followed by PL. And the follow-up was after 15 days. And the pimples reduced a bit, but the back pain continued. So Calcarea Carb 200 was repeated again for 3 dose, 3 days. And the patient was pimples on and off and back pain was better. Again, after 15 days, we repeated PL. And on ultrasound, the number of cysts were reduced. And the uterus is same. It was normal. Ovaries were normal. And the follow-up was again on 30th of May. Pimples seen recurrently on face. Menses was regular. Weight was reduced. And the back pain was still there. So again, 1M was given. Calcarea 1M, 1 dose was given. So these were the 4 follow-ups which we got. The summary of PCOS is subject that continues to be debated amongst the medical and scientific community. Because over the past 60 years, tremendous advances have been made in diagnosis and management. It is one of the most common endocrine disorders, and in the future, the focus on management is likely to be the prevention of the long-term sequelae associated with insulin resistance. This is the most common disorder seen nowadays in the younger generation.
Yeah.
Thank you.